So let's talk about managing clients a little bit, because you work with
Oh yeah.
boards and committees, and one of the challenges, I'm thinking back to when I produced events, is working with boards or committees where you have 12 people on a board or committee. They're all volunteers. They've all got their industry niche that they're part of. So doing an event is not necessarily their thing, but they all want their hands in it. So how?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do differently? How do you organize the committees, or how do you manage those committees when you're working with them?
That's a really good question. I guess the number one thing is to realize that they're passionate too. Especially if you're working with a volunteer organization and a volunteer committee, they're there because they want to be there. They're passionate about what they're doing. You need to key in on that passion, let them, voice that passion, but help steer, 12 people's passions into something that's going to be productive. That sometimes is walking a very narrow tightrope sometimes. You have to be open-minded and definitely you cannot go in there going, well, this is the way that it has to be. Again, listen. I think the key thing is make them feel like they're being listened to instead of disregarded. And then in the end, put something together that you can take back to the committee and say, okay, I've listened to all of your viewpoints and put them all together, and this is what we came up with as the best viable solution. Not everybody's going to be happy because their solution didn't get, but if you put it in a way of respect of their opinions and their passion, and explain to them why you did it this way or why this is the solution, just mainly respect for their opinion and passion. And accept their passion. It's not always easy. Some get a little over passionate, and I'm one that's included in that. Yeah. But just show respect, for them and what their desires are.
So how do you deal with that one committee member?
Oh yeah.
You know the one.
Oh yeah, the one that is overly passionate. Let's see, how did people deal with me then? Yeah.
You just get your way.
It's my way or the highway. No. Usually that person, as long as, two key things, respect and communication. I know I'm harping on those two things, but it really is a key factor. When working with anybody, whether it's a volunteer organization or whether it's people, your colleagues within the same company, the main thing is to help steer them and guide them. The word no is probably not the best one to use. Usually I will try and say, okay, have you thought about doing it this way? Or have you thought about, if we do it this way, this might be an outcome to it, and get them to kind of maybe, change their line of thinking a little bit and focus to think about, what are the ramifications if we do it this way? Right. And lots of times they will, then say, okay, well, that makes sense. I didn't think about it that way, and stuff. No, not always. There will always be somebody that's not happy and disgruntled and will go off and say, I'm taking my sandbox and going someplace else, and those you just have to, don't take it personally. It's, it's not against you. It's just their way of dealing with it.
Yeah. All right. So let's shift gears a little bit here too and talk about some of the events you've produced.